So let's follow along with the Unity beginners vid and see what he does. So we're clicking in the hierarchy, right clicking, going down to 3D object and hitting cube, and it places the cube. That's in the game view. Go to the scene view and it's got a cube. He's in the directional tab, so we'll move over to the directional tab, and he talks about you've been able to move this in its various phases, up and down. And when you go over to the game scene, you can actually see the cube. It's looking down on it or whatever. So we move to selecting the camera, and he shows that if you select the camera, it presents the game view down here, and that the camera is pointing at the cube and it sees the cube. So he's now demonstrating turning, hold the Alt key and the left mouse button enables you to move the view around in the scene. And we'll move the directional aspect of this, holding onto this, and you get close to the cube and the cube gets bigger and it sees the top of the cube there. And we change it in a different direction. And come over to the cube again. We can use the rotate tool, left holding it down, it moves it round and up. And he said that if it's out of sync, you can Control Z a few times and we get out of there altogether. So where's our directional camera gone? Oh, I lost my cube, I lost everything. It's gone back. It's gone back to nothing. See how easy it is to get lost? So I put that back together again. I had to reinstate the cube. And now we're locked onto the cube. There's locked onto the cube, there's locked onto the camera. Alright. So I just rotated the camera a little bit such it's pointing in the general direction where he's got his and where his cube is. It's not quite the same, but it's in the proximity of where it is. So this is what makes things different. We've got the 2020 version, and he's got the 2019 version. Now we've got the same coordinates over here, 000111, and we're at 000111, but our positioning on the cube is different from his positioning on the cube. That's what makes things so difficult here. You're trying to follow somebody along, and what you're seeing is not what they're seeing, even though the numbers are the same. So we'll change the rotation a bit. Let's see. His rotation is just on the horizon. Right mouse click and move it up a bit, and that's just on the horizon. And I want my thing exactly where his is, so we'll move that down here a bit. Let's see where his is. It's close to that. We'll move it back a bit, rotating the wheel, so we are pretty much in the same vein as him, although the camera's in a different position. So we'll click on the camera, and so the game object, I'll move the camera. Let's see, he's right on that center line, isn't it? Let's see, the camera is in that, trying to toggle the coordinates here, 1, 2 up from there, 1, 2 up from there. It's not quite the same, but trying to get the phasing right. It's up a little bit there, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, the camera's in, 1, 2, a bit further over here. It's not quite the same, but sort of similar-ish. Right, and the cube's in the center of that one line there. So let's move the cube up to the center of that line. So that's close. He's rotating a bit, so let's rotate this just a little bit. Oops. Cube. Rotate. Yeah, that's more vertical, isn't it? So, trying to get where he is. So if he's there, and his horizon is there, it's a bit better, and his camera is over in that next corner. So the camera is over in this next corner here. That's pretty much about the same now. So now we're going to rename the cube because he wants to use it for another purpose, like not quite a game, but whatever. He calls it floor tile. So floor tile, updates that, and it updates it over here. And we've renamed the object item. Only he capitalizes it, so let's change that a bit. There you go. So we're going to the assets folder, right clicking here and creating a new folder. There we go. And he's naming this materials. And done. So following along, keep losing myself. You double click on this, empty folder, right click, and he wants to create a material. Create a new, where's material? A material. So he's created a material object. So he's naming this floor dirt. So we'll click on that. Hang on, it's not working. Oh, I think you just type away. And he clicked on it. Probably is. No. See, there's an issue here. What the hell? Oh, so it turns out we've got to right click, rename. And that's how I did that. So now we're going to go and change the color. He wants to change the color to dirt brown. I don't know what his aspect ratios are. Let's have a look. 106, 81, 23. One oh 6, 81, 23. All right. I want to take the shine off of this by bringing the smoother side down so it becomes opaque. Well, it becomes non-shiny anyway. So we got that done. So now we're going to right click on that. No, we're going to click on this and drag it onto the tile. Still got it wrong, didn't listen. So it did work. If you click on the floor tile and you open up this materials element, you can see that it's pointed it as floor dirt, which is what he's got. So that's got that to that done. Oh, so if you take it off scale, like so, and you lose your material, press the F key, it brings it back, rotate on the wheel, and it brings it back down into the size of the system where it was.
And here we go. All right, now we're gonna make it look a little bit more again like
I think I lost the floor camera. So we now select this, which already got selected, press Control D, and it produces a copy. So we've renamed the new item graphs. So we go to our materials, highlight that, press Control D, it makes a copy of that. So there must be a path to doing this rename. Just calling that grass. Oh, highlight this and press F2. F2 highlights it for changing its name. I would highlight the object, I'm going to change the color to green like grass. Let's see what its aspect ratios are. And they're different from mine. Oh, it's up in the corner somewhat. So he's up there. There you go. That's good enough. Right, it's green.
and now it'll be tricky to move it onto here because we don't know we've got two game objects now with the same type of the cube and
Oh.
and it's created a copy here. So let's press F2 and name it grass. And then we should change this as well. Make sure that is selected, and then we click on the albedo color up here.
So he was on 106/81/22. So we change the color back, and we're going to go into this grass, which I've already done, and move it back up to where he's got his sort of, and that's that done. So now we're going to select the grass tile and raise it up. Floor tile, grass tile. So his numbers are different from mine, so I'm going to save it. I haven't saved this for a long time, so it's good to do that. It's in scenes, and it's a cube, and we'll save that. So I've done that. So now I can... So they're both the same color. That's dark brown, that's green. Although it shows it's green, it doesn't show it green on here. It's not got the green on there. Now his is green. So he's on grass and it's 0.5. So we're on grass and this is supposed to be 0. 0.5 and 0. And that totally vanishes. And then the floor tile is 0, 0, 0, and that totally vanishes. So what do you have to do to center it? Can we remember? Control Z. So that's got screwed up. Oh, it wasn't placed properly. It hadn't got that in here, so the floor tile is now floor dirt, and the grass is now grass, and these objects are the same, but where they are in the image, well, that's another matter altogether. I don't... There's the camera. Is that it? Hang on a sec. I kind of screwed up, at least I think I did, so we're going to start all over again and try and get back to where we were. So we've caught back up to where I was, got everything right, and it's operating, looking the same, so we're going to go forward from here. So now with the grass tile selected, we changed its dimensions on scale as per the instructor 1.01, 0.11.01. So now what we actually observe is something a bit more like a tile. So if we highlight the floor tile and move it, you can see it's different from the grass tile. So we're just going to put this back. That should be 0. Now we're going to click on the grass object and drag it onto the floor tile, and now it's a child of the floor tile, so it's associated with the floor tile. We've just changed the lighting, so we're going to make a new folder, we're going to go to Assets, right click and create a new folder and call it Prefabs. So click on it, I'll highlight it, and I'm kind of slow because I'm practicing my typing. So we're going to put the floor tile into the prefab folder. So clicking on the floor tile, holding it, and bring it into the prefab. So the floor tile is now in the prefabs. And the name up here turned blue. So now we're going to drag this prefab tile into the scene. And it says it can go anywhere, it can associate with this, or you can drop it out. Now we're going to make another one off the original one. So on the original one, we do Control D. That makes another one. It's here, floor tile 2, and that can be moved aside. So now who's going to clean the business up? So right click here, and what, that didn't happen. No. Was he associated with that? Prefab. So I'm not watching what I'm doing. I'm not watching what I'm doing. So here we go. Right click, create a new empty file, folder, object. And we'll highlight it, press F2 and rename it level. So we're going to give everything the same coordinates for tile position 0, 0, 0, floor tile 1, floor tile 2, or that's the wrong way around, floor tile 3, 0. Now they're all in the same place now. Hope that's what it wanted. And we're going to supposedly drag all of these objects into level. With that one having grass. He's got his separated a bit, so So they're now separated. So now we can collapse this and hide it. It's still got that green in there, which has been duplicated onto the other tiles. So now it's just showing 3 tiles. Oh, I was showing the rest of that there. If we look at the camera view, now it's showing 3 tiles. There you go. And we see that in the main view. Little by little, I think I got a problem, as all of the children were supposed to have the grass item. You've got the grass. You've got the grass. Yeah, they all got the grass item because they're all instantiated into the floor tile. So that's all correct. So that green was blended with it to give a color, which was then represented as a tile. So you just prefab that as a tile. Seems a bit complicated to me, but whatever. So now we're going to double click on this, and the colors changed. Yeah, his alignment's different. So we have to go to turn. I need to turn this. I don't know how to turn it. It's just his X-plane is different. His X-plane is over there. Now we've got floor tile copy, whereas he's got floor tile. And the prefabs has just got floor tile. As in our prefabs we've got floor tile and floor tile copy. It's so easy to get confused or do something slightly wrong, and then you can't get back because you can't find where we are. So now we go to the grass component, come over to the box collider, do we do that? No, we don't. He did something. I can't remember what he did. So apparently we go to grass and I don't listen. We go to the box collider, right click on it and remove component. And that's done what everyone wants to have done. Ah, that's where we were. Click this left back arrow. It brings us to the level of the tiles. So we now expand all of these, and they don't have the box collider according to him. Now it's going to change the height of one of these grass components, so we went to tile 1 on the grass component and change the Y to 0.4. So that made that a bit thicker. So if we highlight the tile and then hit overrides, you can see that there is selective overrides on this tile. So the difference is that we've got ours at a 90 degrees to where he's got his.
Press stop again. So now we're going to add a player to see if we can make this game a little bit more fun.
That wasn't even on there. So my orientation, as far as this is concerned, is different from his orientation, and it's also different in the player view. When you play, how it activate the player. Mine's at a 90-degree angle to what his is at. So something once again has gone wrong or got changed. So we're supposed to now right click into here and create a 3D object, a capsule. Yay! So we got a capsule. So we're going to center the capsule. It's supposed to be centered. It is, according to that anyway. Hang on a second. He right-clicked and moved. Oh, yo. So what is his orientation? X is on the opposite plane. So these boxes are not all together. Level. Does that mean they all move as one now? Yeah, they do. So I'm mega screwing this thing up. Zero. And you 0 0 and Control Z. Alright, we're back together again. Tiring. I've only got through 27 minutes and this is taking fucking hours. Like 2 hours to go 10 minutes.
And that's okay, we can have it fall down. Gravity will bring him down to the ground in just a minute. But it's also a little bit big for being a player, maybe compared to the tile. So let's change the scale to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Maybe we'll... keep the Y at an even 2 here as well. Also, this light. Light doesn't have to be there to annoy you, because this is a directional light. It doesn't really matter where it's placed, you can send it in. Far away, far away, because it always just have the same angle of the light, so you can just move that one out of the... site. Let's go back to our player. Let's rename this one. It's not going to be called capsule. We're going to call it player. Let's...
So I clicked on this and just renamed it player. Keep forgetting to turn this on and turn it off. He's 28 minutes into this, and with my initial screw up at the repeats, well, even then I'm now 42 minutes into his 28. That's how, and not all the time in between. This is taking ages. I think it's what I'm going to do when I've finished with this and edited it for my purposes, to go through and just make a fast learn kind of data as to what keys and what things do what, and be used to remember, because you can't remember this stuff, at least I can't.